Okay, Genesis 22. Hold on to your hat. This is a huge chapter. Every chapter is huge in the Bible, but this is one of those that a lot of doctrine is anchored in Genesis chapter 22. So this is the story of Abraham being tested. Verse 1, God tested Abraham's faith. So think about test not as God is wanting to see if Abraham fails, but he's wanting to prove the strength of Abraham's faith, much like a bridge builder. They want to test the strength of the bridge and affirm it. So this is what we see here. Abraham is asked by God to take Isaac, his only son, and to sacrifice him on the Mount Moriah. So we have two words that are key. Two words that are first mentioned in the Bible is love. They're in verse 2. First time it's mentioned, your only son whom you love. And worship, which is down in verse 5. So Abraham takes the wood, he takes his son, and they journey for 3 days to go and worship the Lord on the mountain. So two interesting words that are first introduced in this key chapter. So they're journeying. As they get closer to the base of the mountain, Isaac says he's a lad. Now in the Hebrew language, that term lad doesn't signify he's a little boy like all the children's Bibles show. He could be as old as 30. He could easily overpower his father and reject what is happening. But that term lad means he's a young man up to maturity and fully a man. He's just not married. So that idea, kind of hold that in your mind as you're studying and reading through it. They get to the mountain. Abraham begins to wrap the ropes around him. Isaac asks the great questions like, Dad, before they get to that point, he's like, Dad, I see the wood, I see the fire, but where's the sacrifice? And the famous and important line that Abraham says is, God will provide himself the sacrifice, which points us to the cross, the Lamb of God that Jesus is. So there's some prophetic elements to it. There's certainly some beautiful prose in this chapter, but there's also beautiful obedience, because Abraham journeyed for 3 days, supposing, and we're told in Hebrews, the only reason Abraham was able to do it was he supposed God is able to raise him from the dead somehow, because this is the son of promise. All the things God had promised were going to come through Isaac. God said it specifically. But how is God going to do it if I have to sacrifice him? So Abraham supposed maybe God's able to raise him from the dead. I don't know. I'm going to do what God says. So it's a great test and a testament to the faith of Abraham, and even a great testament to the submittedness of Isaac. And it's a picture of Christ as well. So when they get to the mountain, Abraham raises the knife. He's wrapped Isaac. Isaac's on the altar. He's raising the knife to strike him dead. And the angel of the Lord speaks, says, Abraham, stop. So Abraham didn't follow through. There is a process of being willing to hear the Lord in the midst of obedience, because God might change direction for you, and you have to be ready to yield. So in that moment, God says, Abraham, I'm pleased. I see that you fear me, and I'm going to bless you like I've said. All of the things are going to come to pass. And lo and behold, there's a ram caught in the thicket. After all of that took place, there is a ram in the thicket. God did provide the sacrifice. And just a beautiful chapter, incredible doctrinal basis, foundational. It is not human sacrifice. It's God testing the faith of Abraham and affirming it.